The radio home of Minnesota sports is also on YouTube. Check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials, and password games, and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Comedies 10B. The legendary Mark Rosen joins us now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Several text messages have come into the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line. I was not privy to it because Creasel took the big chair to play program password. This one says, nice to see Meat Sauce pulling a Julius Randle today. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, kind of a no-show there a little bit.
I would have thought that analogy would be made.
Well, it was a hideous performance by Meat Sauce.
Yeah,
I mean, literally hideous.
Well,
he was distracted by the
golf.
Yeah, it's like, Crease comes in here, to play. He's excited about it, and he's giving everything. And
it's your guy.
He's staring back at the TV screen, and then all of a sudden he hears the call. He goes, and then it's his turn, and then it was really. I was embarrassed for him.
Well,
I really was.
He wasn't embarrassed.
It's similar. What you saw in program password is what he did for a good stretch of Flop, Sweat, and Tears, where he'd go on stage, and he's supposed to give us 30 minutes. Larry Mandela guy goes up and does 20, 25. I know, but I'm telling the audience. He goes just 20 or 25 minutes. Then Sauce is supposed to go up and do 30, and then I do 30. So they get about a 90-minute show. That's what you want for comedy. So Larry Mandela guy does his 25. Meat Sauce goes up. He's 13, 14 minutes in. It's like, all right, Common's next. And it's like, dude, now I got to do 45 to an hour. Now I've got an hour. Only 4 minutes of it is funny, though. And so I got to do an hour. And that was like his program. That was like his program. He had one good clue today. One good clue. And that was it. Just like a stand-up routine. Somebody has one good line, and that's it. It was bad.
I heard the Perkins word is one of the passwords. Which I thought
about you when I put that together.
I chuckled when I heard that.
Yeah. You're a big Perkins guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Perkins guy. I haven't been there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Sauce is walking out, slinked out the building.
Yeah. On his way to Duluth.
Yeah.
Power trip. Power trip. They're going to, you know what they're doing? They're taking over Duluth.
Are they?
They're taking over Duluth is what they're doing. They're going up there as part of the Grand Moss Marathon thing. I told you, Deuce is running in it. This will be Deuce's second marathon. He is his first one he ran, and I think it was in Nebraska, and he said he finished, but he had to walk some a bit at the end. It's grueling, 26.2. And he told me, and this is what I hear other marathoners say, once you get to the 18-minute mile, that's where it really, or 18 minute, that's where our 18-mile mark, that's where it starts to get really hard.
I think this is a big anniversary one, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Tenna can find out about the Grandma's Marathon, because I remember going up there and covering two of the greatest long-distance runners in U.S. history vying for the championship. And it was our own Gary Bjorklund, who was a legendary marathon runner, obviously did a lot in this area for many, 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 many years. And I believe... I want to say Frank Shorter was up there as well.
Yes, he was. Frank Shorter did run.
We covered it we had the helicopter up there. We had 4 cameras up there. It was, I don't take anything away from the magnitude of it and for the people who competed in it, because God bless them all, I couldn't do it. But they had some really big name runners, Olympic caliber runners back then, and I think the track record the marathon record might still stand, but I remember how close that was. But Gary Bjorklund, one of my favorites. He was a special runner, special person. I'm hopefully still around.
And then one of my favorites was Zola Butt.
Barefoot Zola.
Barefoot.
Yeah. That's
my two favorites were Zola Butt, Rosie Ruiz. I think most people know that. Maybe they don't. Rosie Ruiz was the Boston marathoner who, about couple of miles from the finish line, she just came running out of the neighborhood, and all of a sudden they go, Rosie Ruiz is leading.
I know.
It's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Ja Morant. That's one of the rumors. Your thoughts on Ja Morant joining the soon-to-be NBA World Champion?
I could certainly do a buy-in on Ja Morant. I mean, the due diligence that Tim Connolly and his staff and everyone has to do about Ja is a lot of it has to do with his mental stability and where he's at, maturity level. And one would hope that at this point of his career that he understands that it's kind of at risk, and he's got millions and millions of dollars sitting at the table that he could certainly cash in on, because we know he's got a wealth of talent. From a basketball standpoint, yeah, I mean, he would absolutely fit with this team. I know his 3-point shooting was off, but as far as a ball handler,
he hasn't played much in the last 3 years.
Well, that's the problem.
How many games? 20 last year, 50 the year before, 7 or something the year before.
Yeah,
we don't know what he has left back. If he can get back to the way he used to play and can keep his off-court troubles.
Well, that's why I don't think in theory it would cost him as much to land him. I think Kyrie Irving's probably going to stay in Dallas. That's certainly the rumor right now, and there's a lot of that going on right now, that his druthers would be to stay. And he's 34, of course. Ja's a lot younger, but we saw it firsthand what the talent the kid has when they took on the Wolves here a few years ago in the postseason. Again, the maturity level, his injury situation, but that's not unusual for a young player to have to go through some of that. As long as you don't know if it's going to be chronic, you'd like to think that it's not, but that's the position that I think this team absolutely needs to get better at, and to take some of the pressure off, and taking the ball up, since Dante is going to be out for most of the season, if he's indeed.
Do you think if DiVincenzo were ready to play next year right away, like he hadn't had the injury, do you think they'd even be? Do you still think they'd be looking at big name players to join, or do you think they'd go? We've still got a pretty good nucleus here. I know Randall was obviously very disappointing. Gobert, I don't know what he's got left, but there might be not as much urgency to make a big splash. Or would there still be, do you think?
I think there would be. I think Tim Connolly's MO is, I'm going to make a splash to get, we got to get better. No matter, Dante played, we saw with Dante, played every game, I think, this year during the regular season.
And he was really good.
He was very good, but they still, as a team, weren't good enough. This is not a reflection on him. They weren't good enough to be at the level of OKC and San Antonio, and think to yourself, well, okay, we got to get better as a team. And so I think there's a restlessness in saying that, maybe we got to move on from Randall. Maybe Gobert's not the answer right now. We got the pieces with McDaniel, and maybe we got to get Nas in the starting lineup and not just have him as the sixth man. And we got to improve maybe still improve the point guard position, even if Dante's healthy. But without him there, I think that's priority number one. I just don't know how you can go in this. And now they can sign Ayo. They can bring back Terrence Shannon, who will be back. Those guys, certainly Terrence Shannon's got I think a real upside for this team. But I still think, to answer your question, Common, I think Connolly would not have been satisfied with saying, we're just going to run it back as is. We're not good enough right now to.
Well, and especially with as good as Oklahoma City has been and looks to continue to be. I don't see why that would change. And certainly San Antonio, all those players are still under early contracts. Correct. There's no big money contracts that I'm aware of that are coming up. So those two teams look like they're not going anywhere, but getting better, if anything.
Yeah, that's just it. So I think, I don't think Conley. I don't think the Dante injury is enough to sway him. We got to make a huge move because Dante's not here. I think they got to make a move anyway, and they still could have done better in the postseason even without Dante, but they just weren't. They weren't there, and now of course their hand has been forced with the injury, the elongated injury that DiVincenzo is going to be recovering from.
I'm not paying as close attention to the NBA in general and specifically expansion, but this talk of expansion, refresh my memory. Is Seattle. That supposed to happen? Is this going to, when will they decide on team? And then how long will it be for those? Like, they're not going to be next year.
No. Okay. They're not going to have an expansion. They haven't granted the franchises yet. So I think Seattle's the number one, team. That was, of course, OKC.
Yeah. Seattle and Vegas is what they're thinking.
Yeah. Right? And that makes sense. And then there's, the reality that one of the teams in the West, and the Wolves are certainly mentioned among, I think Memphis.
It's Memphis and the Wolves, I think, are the two names that are mentioned.
New Orleans might have been one.
Yeah, one of those teams will go to the East. So I don't know. I think they could still vote on it. I mean, something could happen at the end of July in terms of saying, well, listen, we're acknowledging that these teams are going to be in the league, but it's going to be a couple of years before we do the draft. I haven't seen an exact timetable unless I've missed it, but it's certainly on the horizon. Because before, when they were talking about when A-Rod and Laurie bought the team and, they're going to move the team out of Minnesota, the answer is no, they were never going to. And number two, the owners don't want an existing team to move. They want the expansion money because all the owners make money when they make Seattle, as an example, an expansion team. They get paid handsomely. So why would they want the Wolves to move?
The only time leagues approve a move is when a governmental body or the county, the state, whatever, they're trying to everybody's trying to get, hey, let's do a halvesy deal. You pay for half, we pay for whatever deal. And if a city just says, like Chicago is saying, sorry, we're not playing the game, and so that's why they're going to Hammond, Indiana, or looks like they're going there. Otherwise, you're right. There's no reason for them to they like expansion because, like you say, it pads the pockets of the owners that are currently that own a club, and they don't. Minneapolis is a decent sized market. It's of the 30 NBA teams, I don't know where it ranks. Got to be in the middle, right?
Oh, it is.
So they wouldn't want to exit this market. So even if Laurie and A-Rod, let's say if the league said you can go anywhere you want, maybe they might have wanted to move. Maybe they would. But I don't think there was any chance of that happening.
And this isn't to suggest that their efforts to get a new arena, which is priority number one for the ownership. And we've heard two locations. We've heard of City Center lately, and then the big farmers market over on the International Market Square. That would be the place, but there's no guarantee that they're going to get that done. Again, with the Bears situation, that's the state of Illinois more than the city of Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, the legislature that's not back in session till the fall, and by then I think they're going to have a deal signed, sealed, and delivered in Hammond, Indiana, which is about only 30-40 miles from Chicago, but still it's a big step for a Bears franchise that's synonymous with Chicago and has been for the Hallis's as long as they've been around.
Here we be, a quarter of the way through hour number 3 of the Grum, which means it's time for 10 to be. Give a keyword. $2,500 at stake here. Tell me, what do you have for a keyword here on the National Cash Contest?
Yeah, the fan has your chance to win $2,500. Just enter the keyword Liberty at KFAN.com right now. That keyword is Liberty. Enter now at KFAN.com.
After 40-plus years.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to beat. The legendary one, Mark Rosen, is here. It's a throw in the towel Thursday, but they're not throwing in the towel yet at the U.S. Open. It's time for our peek at the pros, brought to you by the Minnesota Golf Association. Become a member. There's so many benefits if you join the Minnesota Golf Association. One of the best ones is for kids 18 years of age and under. If you're a member of the MGA, you get to play a round of golf at, I think it's roughly 150 courses across Minnesota where you pay just $5. Pretty good. And then you can establish a handicap, so you can play competitive matches against people that might be a skill level that's a little bit better than yours, or maybe a little lesser than yours. But just go to mngolf.org/membership. mngolf.org/membership. The MGA does just terrific stuff for golf. They grow the game is what they do. So do that today. And 10 to be, it looks like Roars has a little company at the top of the leaderboard now.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy, I was going to say is your leader, but now looking at TV is different than my leaderboard. He must have bogeyed 17. So he was at 3 under. Now he's at 2 under through 17. That's tied with Sam Stevens, who shot at 2 under 68 today, and Ben James, who is 2 under through 14. Some names at 1 under would be Ludwig Oberg, Brian Harmon, Ryder Cowan, who's an amateur, is 1 under through 3.
Whoa. Then
you have Laurie Cantor, 1 under through 2, and Neil Shipley, 1 under through 1. At even, you have Keith Mitchell, Christopher Rattan, Keegan Bradley, Tommy Fleetwood, Max Grazerman, Alex Fitzpatrick, Nicholas Norgard, Jackson Van Paris, and Bud Cauley, who is even through 1.
Mark Rosen selected Arnold Palmer but the problem is Arnold has passed away, so I don't know how you're going to do there. Who did you get again?
Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark. Yeah, he hasn't teed off yet.
He's a hell
he had
of
a
a
delay
player.
this morning. Pardon?
He's a hell of a player.
He is. Yeah,
He's won the U.S. Open before a couple of years ago.
Scheffler. I think is he 3 over or 2 over? I'm not sure.
He was 2 at last time I saw.
Yeah. So
where did Wyndham Clark?
I got Scotty Scheffler's 2 over through 15.
Okay.
Where did Wyndham Clark win his U.S. Open? Was that at the L.A. Country Club?
I don't know.
That sounds right.
I think it was the L.A. Country Club where I think he won it. But now that is neither here nor that's in L.A. That's in Los Angeles. The only I want to go back to Meat Sauce's performance in Program Password.
Bugging you.
Well, the only thing I can equate it to is like I was really looking forward to the Broad squad against Creasel and Sauce. I thought because Sauce has been playing much better as of late, and I thought this is a chance to be an all-timer, a classic, right? A couple of Goliaths squaring off. But then what happens sometimes is you'll get that disappointment. Like I remember when Kenny Norton was going to fight Jerry Cooney back in like 1980, and this could be a really good fight. Kenny Norton, the former champ, veteran. Cooney's never really been tested by anybody. This could be a great fight. And Cooney blew him out within 2 minutes of the first round. It was one of the most frightening knockouts you'll ever see. If you want to see a frightening knockout, I can't even watch it anymore. Now it's like Norton gets caught up in the corner on the ropes, and Cooney hits him with 4 consecutive punches, just roundhouses, because the ref couldn't get in time because Kenny he was out cold with his eyes wide open. But anyway, so then it was a spectacular knockout. But you're like, wow, I was kind of hoping for like good 10-round fight with a lot of strategy and stuff. And that's what I was thinking we're going to get out of Program Password. We're good back and forth.
Right.
It was going to be critical if you passed or took the first one, and forget about, are you going to go first or second or pass? Meat Sauce played like he was passed out. I mean, it was just awful. Well, maybe he thought the game was, instead of password, was pass out because it was just off.
In the meantime, I was waiting near Little B's office, and Marnie went in there and closed the door. I mean, they were strategizing because I was faking like I was taking video of them, but they gave me a look like, no, we're taking this seriously. And that's why they're the best team. They have been the best team.
There's your guy, Bryson DeChambeau.
I hope they show every one of his shots.
You love watching him play.
I do, especially on this course. He might tour all of it today.
He has really struggled in the majors this year. Did he miss the cut in both the Masters and the PGA? I think he missed the cut in both. And this is from a guy who's won not one but 2 U.S. Opens, right? He won at the Bomb and Gouge at Wingfoot, and then he won at was it Pinehurst? I think he won Pinehurst number 2, if I'm not mistaken. When he beat McIlroy in that battle right to the very end, he hit that on the 72nd hole. He hit that incredible bunker shot, 50-yard bunker shot. He hit it in close and made the putt and won. But his game is. It's uncomfortable to even watch him swing. He's just stiff like a rope. He looks like he looks like other than the nose is different, but he looks like Pinocchio. Like he's made of wood. He just stands and it works for him. But he's just got his arms straight out like this, and he comes back and
his putting motion's that way.
His putting motion. It looks like it hurts to putt. It looks like he's in pain.
Well, he needs to bounce back, and I don't know if it's Rahm. You think about the Live guys who are the big names that are still on what's left of Live. I don't even think aren't they disbanding basically? Well, we don't really know this.
I think that's what's going to happen. I just think it's a matter of time now. It's academic, I think, but they're looking to try. The rumor now is that PIF isn't even going to fund the last 2 events, and their commissioner, whoever he is, said, "Oh no, we're full steam ahead for the rest of the year." They might not even fund it, and for all intents and purposes, it's over. The only way, and they're trying. They're looking for an angel. They're looking for somebody like a Mark Rosen to pony up money to keep it afloat, and that's just. I just don't think that's going to. If PIF won't do it, they're as good with money as anybody. If they're not going, who else? I guess Elon Musk might want to pick up the. He would be the guy that could do it as a trillionaire now.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think it's over. Yeah.
How long does it take? We've seen some of the golfers, including Brooks Koepka, come back.
Well, he had to pay a fine. He had to pay $5 million that went to a charity, and then he doesn't have exemptions other than the majors because he's won five majors. Right. Yeah. And so, I don't think he accrues any FedEx Cup points or anything like that. There's some punishments for it. It's not awful. That'll all go away eventually. It was just, it's the best way. And as a matter of fact, I would bet a guy like Rahm. Now, he turned down the same kind of an offer to get back, and I think he'll change his mind. Once the live is rest in peace, then I think that's when the other guys will start coming back.
And if they welcome him with open arms, I mean, they could say, well, you took blood money, and you took the money and you ran away from, especially a guy like Rahm, who I always thought came across as a guy who respected the Palmers, the guys.
Well, he did, and he does. Yeah,
but yet he left. I mean,
well, I guess the money's enticing. It's hard. I mean, when you're talking about, he was paid allegedly $300 million, $300 million, and that was just for, I don't even know how long the life of the contract was. It wasn't like lifetime. It was like a few years.
That's my point. I don't know how welcoming it's going to be for.
Well,
back.
I think it seems like they've already. Koepka doesn't seem to have any worse. I don't see him at the end of the driving range all by himself.
No.
Being a what's the word I'm looking for? Being a
black sheep.
Yeah, like being a black sheep. Yeah, I don't. Or I was going to say chameleon, but that's the wrong word. But like he's just not that. So I think eventually.
I think in due time they'll all be back. I'm sure. I think the gallery, the fans. When I watch a tournament that's not a major, I like it when. I like watching
absolutely.
John Rahm play. I like watching DeChambeau play and a couple of the other guys that are.
Yeah, Tyrrell Hatton. And when Koepka was there, these are the best players. The guy that, it's amazing how the fall from grace, it's Phil Mickelson.
Well,
Mickelson was the one that really, he was the one that really pushed. He was bitter about, he didn't think that players were, especially the better players, were paid enough money. So he was all on board with LIV. He was one of the first guys he got with Norman, and then now apparently he was missing a bunch of LIV tournaments because of a health problem in the family. Then you come to find out he got kicked out of the Farms Country Club down in San Diego for apparently unwanted advances with some
accusations of sexual
whether they're true or not, it seems like the investigation the club did, they found out where there's smoke, there's fire. And you look at Mickelson, and he was a guy that he was every man's champion. He was probably the most like, I guess he and Woods were the two most, but Mickelson just had that every man's kind of appeal. He was a guy that, Woods kind of was a little aloof, he never made eye contact with the gallery or fist pumped. Phil always did that kind of stuff, and now, because of LIV and because of this.
Yeah, he's become a curmudgeon. Just kind of a sour, dour human being beyond anything else.
Is this your guy, DeChambeau, right now?
It looks like he hit an iron.
Yeah, he's teeing off with an iron. Because they'll do that on some of these holes here too.
Why not?
Perfect shot. You should have taken your guy DeChambeau. Did anybody take DeChambeau?
Chance.
Did somebody take him?
I was so low. Yes. I don't know who. I don't have the list in front of me, but I was way down the list, so I didn't have much of a choice.
We'll break. We'll come back. We've got plenty more to get to. One more segment to go here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Listening to the Common.
Join Nordo and KFAN for Team USA watch party tomorrow afternoon at Dugarell's in Hastings. Catch USA versus Australia kicking off at 2 p.m. with games, prizes, and drink specials while cheering on the red, white, and blue. We'll see you at Dugarell's in Hastings tomorrow, too.
What's the name of the place again?
That would be Dugarell's in Hastings.
What time would that be?
That would be 2 p.m.
You got
tomorrow.
Let me find a piece of paper and a pencil here so I can write this down. Now, what was the name of that place again?
Dugarell's in Hastings tomorrow at 2. Nordo, KFAN. You can watch USA versus Australia.
Mark Rosen, had Bryson DeChambeau been available on the power trip, would you have taken him?
Depends on what spot I would have been in. Probably not because of his recent play in the majors, because of, as you just documented. I mean, if there were others that were. He was the best available choice. Yeah, I would have taken him because I think he will bounce back this tournament.
Rosen has checked out. No one picked Bryson in the golf bets and the power trips.
They did?
You said he was gone.
Wait a minute.
Nobody.
No.
You weren't paying
I
attention,
don't think that's true. But let me double check.
I've had a couple 13, 14
really?
people tell me.
Well, then I'm wrong.
So you had checked out, basically.
No, hang on a second.
Nobody took DeChambeau.
My God.
You're making it up as you go along.
I did, because I had the fourth of the last pick, and I took Clark, and then Patrick Reed, and then got her up, Parker Fox.
Giddy up, got her up.
Bonus took Justin Thomas, and Zach took Oberg.
How did Oberg go that late?
I don't know, last one.
You know why I think? Here's why I
He
think.
switched his putter?
Well, no, I think mostly because he... Almost every tournament he plays, this would be the reason to take him. He seems to always be in contention.
Yeah, he's in the mix.
But he never seals the deal. Now, eventually you feel like he's got to, and, maybe today is the day. He shoots 69. He's a shot out of the lead. Stevens is your clubhouse leader right now at -2. Is it Sam Stevens? We talked about him earlier. I think he's 54th in the world. I'm not familiar with him. McIlroy bogeyed 18. Mm-hmm. He's at -1, as is Oberg. Harmon, is it Grazerman? Is that how you say it? I think it is. Ben James, an amateur, Ryder Cup. Now he's only four holes in, but there's a lot of people at -1 and a number at even. I think the best score in relation to par at Shinnecock in the U.S. Open was 4 under par. That's the best anybody's done. So
ever done. I
don't expect that to change much here. I would, a matter of fact, if you play this out, and let's say. Right now, there's somebody at 2 under, but let's say he falls to 1 under, then you're talking about if you play 4 under would probably.
Yeah, you're right. I thought DeChambeau was taken by someone, but I wouldn't have taken. Well, obviously I didn't. So
No, you didn't, and I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, I think again because he has not played well in the recent majors. He looked like a disaster. You just talked about his wooden swing and everything. He just doesn't seem like he's had his act together.
Well, he's had the wooden swing forever.
No, that hasn't changed. But
that's just the way he swings. He has clubs that are all the same length shaft. He's a golf club scientist. And
just ask him.
I think the laboratory may have blown up. But that's a whole other thing in itself.
It'll be fun to watch on Father's Day.
I was going to ask you about Twins were off yesterday because of soccer. There was a game in because where are they at? Are they down in Texas? They're
down in
Houston,
Dallas. No,
right.
So they were playing
the Rangers, right?
The Cowboys, the Cowboys Stadium. They don't call it during the matches. They don't call it SoFi Stadium. They call it Los Angeles Stadium or whatever. So they had a rare, I think one of the few Wednesday days off they've ever had during the middle of the baseball season, but I think they're back playing this afternoon. Do you have a score on it?
I did not realize it was after. I guess that's not that I paid that close attention to begin with, but I think it does go to show you where the team is, and I don't think I don't feel a lot of excitement over the club, and rightfully so because of what they've done the past few years with blowing up the roster and changing who's running the organization and with some of the moves that they have made or haven't made, I think has left a lot of people with a bitter taste in their mouth. But
they're about to win. I mean, they're already up 4-0.
Are they?
Rangers. Brooks Lee hit a 3-run homer, and they have their ace on the mound, as we've talked about. Joe Ryan's already had 5 strikeouts in 2+ innings against the Rangers, so they're about to sweep. Not about to. They're positioned to sweep the series, and I think win their 5th or 6th game in a row. So. Dodgers are coming here next week for their lone appearances, and I'm sure they'll draw well for that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're off to a fine start again this afternoon, and
we talked about this yesterday. I don't know if you were part of the conversation. You were, right? Because I said how many current Minnesota Twins would start on the Dodgers, and we thought maybe one.
Maybe Byron Buxton, yeah.
And that would be it. There's nobody else there. And Ryan, he's our ace. He'd probably be back-end starter for.
Yeah.
And that's not ripping either of those guys. It's just how deep the Dodgers
100%.
are.
I mean, you look at the Twins roster, and a lot of them have been, kind of AA players or journeyman players. Carantini's catching now because, Jeffries.
Look at those 2 shots on that par 3. And here's what's crazy. Is all the talk was of how difficult this par 3 is. And it is. It's only playing, I say only, but for these guys, it's a pitch and putt. It's 155 yards. Mm-hmm. They're used to playing 250 to 300 yard par 3s, but it's such a devilish hole. It's 40 feet above the tee box, okay? Wow. And you've got bunkers, as you can see, surrounding it. And look at these. These are three. I mean, these guys, that's how good they are. Well, all three of them. That's the worst shot of it, and he's 6 feet. The other, Jason Day's 6 feet. The other two are like
tap-ins.
Yeah, they're kick-ins for sure. But that's the hole that, and that's probably the most accessible pin location they'll have on that hole for the 4 days. That seems to be like it's almost, I wouldn't say it's dead center of the green, but it's pretty close. But I'll tell you what, they'll put that, if you put that thing over on the back left or right front, there's a lot of trouble to be had on that hole. So it'll be fun as the.
Well, I like when they do the split view. I wish they did this more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scheffler, 17th, 3 over.
His pants are fluttering in the breeze, too. And look at DeChambeau with his stiff, rigid arms. He looks like a pole.
You ever tried to putt like that?
No, I would never want to. He looks like a pole vaulter.
Scheffler nails it.
Chef made his, and let's see what DeChambeau does.
This is his first hole, though he's on 10. Right?
This is a little longer.
Oh, look at this.
That's short.
Short.
Yeah.
That's for birdie.
He's starting his first round of the U.S. Open off 10. They go off 1 and 10 because they have 156 players in the field. It's a large field for the U.S. Open. Cool thing about the U.S. Open that I like, it's the U.S. Open, anybody, 10B, who has had an experience that's not unlike that of a PGA pro, 10B could play in the U.S. Open if he got good enough and qualify, because they have qualifiers. They have.
I love that.
They have local qualifiers all over the country. There's always a couple in Minnesota.
Yeah.
If you get out of the local now, let's say there's 75 guys trying locally. They'll take probably only 1 or 2, depending on how many. They'll take 1 or 2 guys. Then you advance to the sectional. And then that's the only one. If you can get through sectionals, then you all of a sudden, that's why there's some amateurs here. These guys have there are tour pros that have to go to I don't think they have to do local. I think if you have a tour card but are not qualified for the U.S. Open, you just get to go to sectional. You sign up and you get automatically get a free pass to go to sectional. But if you were an amateur and were really good and somehow got out of the local and went to you could be paired with a PGA Tour pro that's trying, that hasn't played well enough as of late to get an automatic qualification.
Does anyone come to mind, a Minnesota golfer in that position who's played as well as? I remember Tentis. There were a couple of guys that were. I
don't know if any of them went through U.S. Open qualifying and got in that way. I don't think Dave or Donnie Berry or any of those guys, I don't think they played in U.S. Opens. They played in PGA Championships.
Okay.
PGA Championship is different. Pro. What the PGA does is they have a nice little perk if you're a PGA golf professional. I'm not talking about on the tour. You're a guy that works at a golf shop, right? And there are literally hundreds, actually thousands all across the country. And if you feel like you're good enough, same thing. You go to a local, in your area in the state. The PGA section, the Minnesota section of the PGA is Minnesota. I think maybe a little bit of North Dakota and the western part of the western side of Wisconsin. And you go to this, and same thing. They take a handful of guys. Then you go to where they have the PGA Championship. They'll have that. I think that's played in the fall, if I'm not mistaken. And then what they do is, if you end up being one of the top 20, like 300 guys will be there. They'll go to like Kiowa Island. And if you're one of the top 20, you finish in the top 20, you get to play in the PGA Championship. So that's why both Tentis and Berry have done it. Each of them have done it on a couple of occasions. I think Dave has played in 3 or 4 PGA Championships, and I think Donnie the same. And the Berry story is really cool because when he made it here at, I think it was the Hazeltine it might have been the 2009 one or 2000. It was one or the other. I think it was the 2009 one. His final round, he got paired with Tom Watson.
How about that?
I don't think about that. Tom Watson, one of the greatest players to ever lace him up. I think he's won.
Classiest gentleman too.
He's an 8 or 9 time major championship. He won a couple of jackets. I think he won 5, if I'm not mistaken, Open championships across the pond.
Remember how close he came to winning that one when he was 60, right? 60, in that last hole?
He was like 59 and a half or 60 years old, yeah. and he had a 12-foot putt that would have won it for him, and he missed. Then he got into a playoff with Stuart Sink, and Sink beat him in the playoff. In the Open Championship, they do a 4-hole aggregate, or maybe it's a 3-hole aggregate. I think it's 3-hole aggregate, where you just play 3 holes and you count them. And Sink pretty much eliminated him.
Yeah, I think he felt bad about it. I mean, he felt bad. Of course, he won.
And Sink said afterwards, he said, I think I was the only person rooting for me. Anyway, that's just the fact. And it's not that anybody had anything against Stuart Sink. It was just the Tom Watson story. It would have been, and I know there are a lot of people that don't consider golf. There's the guys that go, if you can drink a beer and ride a cart, it's really not a sport. But achievements to be, right now, the oldest, Nicholas won at 46 the Masters. Julius Boros won the 68 PGA Championship, I think, at 48. Mickelson won a PGA Championship at Kiowa Island when he was 50 or 51. That's the oldest player to ever win a major. Watson would have won it at like 60 years old. That would have just been astonishing. It was, especially when you talk about all the young kids who can hit the ball a country mile. These guys hit it so far, and he was...
He had a great chance. Never forget watching that. It was like, like you said, everyone except for Stuart Sink, maybe his wife were rooting for Stuart Sink.
Yeah, and Stuart wants to win, so he's not going to tank it. But
of course not.
So there you go. So, anyways, getting back to the Twins just for a second.
Yes.
I think we even broached this topic yesterday about Ryan and Buxton are the 2 best players. Would Buxton waive a no-trade clause? Just reading your crystal ball, I know there's no way to predict what the poll odds are going to do. There really isn't. It's just really difficult. But do you think they would be at the point where if the season is going like it is now and it looks like, we're not even going to get a wild card here, there's nothing to do. Do you think they're sellers, buyers, stand pat? And if they are sellers, they don't sell anybody like a Ryan or a Royce Lewis or a Buxton. They just maybe, some ancillary pieces, or another team might say, hey, that guy's a good 4th outfielder for us. We can use him in pinch hitting.
Well, because they've loaded up because of all the trades they made, and they've loaded up a lot of the St. Paul Saints team with a lot of really promising young players. Not just my guy Walker Jenkins, but the Culpepper kid, who I think has been hurt. A lot of these guys get hurt. I think they have enough guys that they're going to just count on to bring up. I don't see them in a position. I don't think Buxton's going to ask to be traded. He doesn't certainly making any noise about it certainly he's had his opportunities to grouch about it. Ryan's a little interesting case because he's going to have a resume that's going to be really impressive, I think, for a lot of teams that are looking for a frontline starter. I think the Twins would be in a position to cash in on Joe Ryan with the highest bidder. Again, it's not something that you want to do because Ryan's young. He's got a wonderful future, but with the looming lockout and everything else going on, nothing has surprised me in the past, and nothing would surprise me in the near future if Joe Ryan ended up getting moved. I think Buxton's here to stay, but they got so many young players that are going to be called up and get chances to play, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as the season goes on. If you look at their starting lineup today, the Clemens kid has been coming out and he's been hitting the ball pretty well. And Royce is back in the lineup, and Brooks Lee hit the 3-run homer. Carantini's been substituting at catcher. Keishel's your second baseman now for the foreseeable future, certainly the infielder. So there's not a lot of what more can they do to trade for prospects? They already have enough prospects. St. Paul's filled with their top prospects. So. No, I don't see them doing anything dramatic. I'd be surprised, other than, again, like I said, if Joe Ryan gets moved.
Matter of fact, if I was going to do the prediction business, I would say Joe Ryan will be traded because I don't think Joe would mind. And if you remember, get
that sense.
He wasn't real thrilled when he was very disappointed when they didn't re-sign Sonny Gray. Both him and Lopez both complained about it because they said he was the leader of that pitching staff. Now, Sonny Gray, when he left and went to the Cardinals, I think that first year he was pretty good. Since then, he hasn't really been the kind of pitcher that he was when he was here. So there would be the negatives. I would say, it was a good thing to let Gray go. But at the time, you didn't know if he was going to succeed or fail. He was coming off a really good season.
The Twins weren't in a position to move guys like that.
Exactly. And he was, he was willing to stay, if I'm not mistaken. It was just that he was he was going to get $25 million for 3 years from the Cardinals, and the Twins weren't going to pay him that kind of money, so he left. And then Lopez and Ryan both expressed their disappointment because they said this guy was a leader of the staff. He knew how to get guys ready to pitch, and it was, there was a real camaraderie there, and they both said they missed that. But that's the sport. You'll say, well, sometimes it doesn't work that way. But yeah, I didn't like it when they let Gray go either because they had 3 top pitchers, and it was all part of that. That pull that penny pinching that goes on, and it just
especially in a division that's so winnable.
Yep.
You look at the White Sox were in the bottom of the barrel for so long now, and now all of a sudden they're not tearing it up. At least they're competitive, and they've been in first place. And Cleveland's kind of sputtering, and the Twins have an opportunity. They have an opportunity still to make some noise in a very, very winnable division. I don't think anyone's going to pull away. So I don't certainly think the White Sox are. But I don't get the sense that the Twins are going to be, we're going to be buyers at the trading deadline. We're going to go get ourselves another top level starting pitcher at what expense? Giving rid of a top prospect. That's what it would take.
So you're, Monday you're going under the knife, getting a new knee?
New knee, right knee, yeah.
So now you'll have a new left knee, and your left knee was used, but you had that replaced how many years ago?
2015. I thought it was earlier. I had my doctor's assistant called and said, no, it was 2015. So
what will you do leading up to that now in here? You're a couple of days away.
Well, I have restrictions on the meds I take, and then I have my last solid food. I have to be at the hospital at 11 a.m. on Monday, so I have to stop eating. I can have breakfast on Sunday. I'll probably load up, and then I'm done eating solid food at 11. I can drink, apple juice and Gatorade and water that night, and then take a couple different pills, and then just the car will take me over there on Monday, and 2 hours later I'll wake up at some point and see, can I go on Common Show? It's Monday. Never mind, I can't.
Well, we'll wish you the best.
I appreciate it. I'll be fine. I'm looking forward to the PT and getting it done. Look, as these are still elective surgeries. When you're in a position to still kind of be in charge of what's happening to you, as opposed to the doctor saying, oh, you need a new kidney, you need new this. I mean, look at what Johnny Creasel just went through again. Remove his gallbladder. The
Cowan kid just made a birdie. He's an amateur. He's tied for late. I'm sorry. Yes.
He's had so many surgeries, and he has a phenomenal attitude. Was in here today playing program basketball.
Well, you have complications on the surgery,
I
too.
know, on top of all of that. So it's like, well, yeah, what am I going to feel bad about? Nothing. I mean, it's just, this is, everybody goes through this kind of stuff, and I'm excited about the PT and getting things going and being able to maybe play golf again. I mean, it just has been impossible with my knee. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And then Monday at 11 o'clock, Tennessee will be feverishly preparing for the second voyage of the Kenneth Fitzgerald. You're in tomorrow. I'm going to San Francisco. I'm going to wear flowers in my hair.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm going to wear flowers in my hair because I'm going to San Francisco, and I left my heart there, so I'm looking for it.
You'll be fine.
So you will set sail tomorrow. Little B, the feminine touch at 1, right?
I'm loading up the lifeboats tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, Nordo's going to start to talk USA, preview USA versus Australia soccer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Dane Moore will talk Timberwolves at 12:30. Little B in studio for an hour, 1 to 2, and then Dan Hayes will talk Twins at 2:30.
And then my guess is if you take after the host of the regular host of the program, you haven't even given Monday a thought yet.
I have given Monday a thought. Kevin Gorg is going to join me in studio from noon to 1 to break down the U.S. Open and talk Minnesota Wild.
Nice.
Off season.
Very good. Sounds like you're...
and I'm sure we'll add more.
Sounds very good. Good luck in your surgery.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll talk
Have
to you
a great time
back.
out in San Francisco. You'll love it.
I will indeed. Tennessee,
hopefully your tongue makes it through the surgery.
Yep.
Thanks, Louie.
Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit. I'll talk to you Tuesday at 12 noon. As I mentioned, I'm off for a few days. Tennessee in tomorrow at 12 noon. Big Ticket, JG. They are next, right? Shimmering